Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this live interview with Rebecca Stromsdorfer from My Homeschool Village. So, if you guys haven't tuned in from one of our interviews with her before, I just wanted to kind of give you a little background. So, Rebecca brings warmth, creativity, and a deep commitment to homeschooling families as the co founder of My Homeschool Village. She has over 20 years of homeschooling experience, and so she really understands the importance of customizing learning and community support. She's passionate about creating an environment where parents and kids alike can thrive. Her friendly conversational tone makes everyone feel at home, and her leadership helps guide the growing village of homeschoolers at My Homeschool Village. Um, Thank you so much for joining us today, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
So, you guys might be asking yourself, what is My Homeschool Village? So, it is a vibrant community and resource hub founded by Rebecca Stromsdorfer and Heather Leach, two homeschool moms with over 40 years of combined experience raising and educating 9 children together, collectively. Born out of their own journeys navigating the challenges of homeschooling and balancing curriculums, schedules, and individual needs, they've created a space to support families at every stage. So they offer personalized curriculum, online co-op classes, and a tight-knit community of moms and teachers. So this aims to make homeschooling flexible, enjoyable, and stress-free. So whether you're just beginning your homeschooling journey or you're a seasoned homeschooler, this village welcomes you with tools and camaraderie to help your family thrive. So today we're going to be talking about syncing your homeschool schedule with your menstrual cycle. So if you guys are joining us live, I'm going to go ahead and share a link to the planner that Rebecca has created. And it is a free download for all you guys. So you guys can be able to get all of the information about this and follow along as Rebecca explains more about the idea and philosophy.
Awesome. Thank you. So let me just dive in. So thank you, Amelia, for that introduction. That was very, very sweet. Very flattering, and I appreciate it. I just want to give you a background. So I have homeschooled for over 20 years, 5 children. I'm on my last 2, and they're teenagers now. And so we're on the back end of it, but I love helping moms find peace in homeschooling. I just think I stressed over it for so long with so many guilt issues and so many questions. Now that I'm on the other end of it, I want to reach back, and I want to give other moms like me the opportunity to reach back and bring other mothers forward and help them now find the journey in, find the peace and the ease that there is in homeschooling. So the homeschooling around your menstrual cycle is actually something that is in my later years I discovered as a homeschool mom. The first 10 years of homeschooling were stressful, and I was always worried about consistency. How do I be consistent with my kids when I don't feel very consistent? And I thought that meant daily, right? Like every day I need to do these things. And I went through different schedules and planners. What hadn't I tried? And it wasn't until one day I was just having an extreme menstrual cycle, really, where I was just down in the dumps. I was exhausted. I didn't want to do anything. And I remember complaining to my husband, and I was like, I'm just mad at God right now. Why would he do this? Like, why did he create, I've been done having kids for 10 years. Why do I still have to go through this cycle? Why am I such a mess, so often? And I was kind of just mad at him. I was mad at God going, why would you do this to women? We have so much to accomplish. And then you give us this cycle that just shuts us down. And so I'm a praying woman. I'm a Christian woman. And I took it to prayer, and I was like, what? You need to explain this to me. There's got to be a reason behind it. Right? And I got an answer, and it was so beautiful and clear. And I got a very clear answer that said, my daughters are so busy. I had to build in your rest time. And I went, wait, what? Seriously? And he's right. Like I have 2 weeks of the month that I am go, 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 to the point where I almost forget I have children. Like I just go and go and go. And I can check off on every box on my list and get it all done. And then there's 2 weeks where I get tired and I'm exhausted and I don't want to do those things anymore. But now I'm in a cuddly mood, and I get picture and we watch movies and we read books and art projects, right? Cook together. And I realized it was like he showed me this picture of the woman who gets things done is important. But so is the woman who doesn't get things done, who cuddles her children, who loves on them, who understands that naps are beautiful. And that's when I went, oh, there is a purpose in all of this. So I started like organizing it. What does that mean to our homeschool? When should we get certain things done? And I started doing some studying on the menstrual cycle. How do I personally react? I started tracking my cycle when I felt certain ways. It changed my marriage. My husband started following it, and he started just knowing that in this week, that if he left me totally alone, that would be good. And another week where he better be bringing flowers, right? But it gave him a nice boundaries for me. And then we started explaining it and sharing it with our kids. This week, mom fills these things. So this week, we're only going to focus on these things, not these things. We'll leave, and we'd separated it out. And so the planner was created. Okay, it was made for me and my family. And then we made it pretty for the rest of the world, and now we share it for free. And a lot of moms will ask me, what do you do about your own teenage daughters? Well, I have 3 teenage daughters. And what we did is, and our cycles don't always sync up, especially girls who are just starting their menstrual cycle. Sometimes they can be all over the place. And so what we did is now they each have their own planner, and they build their own education around their weeks, regardless of mom's weeks now. So your little kids need to know more about mom's weeks, but your older children should be educating themselves and doing their own cycles of energies. So anyway, so it changed everything for us, everything. And now I just share it all the time because I'm like, why did nobody teach me this, number one? And why is this not talked about more often? I think it needs to be so that we can own this cycle of life and take the downs as a blessing as much as the ups as a blessing. So that's the story of how this all happened and where it came from. And then we use My Homeschool Village's programs to fill in the holes when I just don't want it.
Yeah, I just pulled up the planner myself, and I think that it's really cool how you really make it so that people can really customize this for their own curriculum, what they have, but you also have so many suggestions for people who are just like, I am overwhelmed. I just need the kids to do something to get their education and continue their learning and give me a chance to rest. I think it's really cool that you have all that filled in, but also have it really easy to customize and really walk them through how to be able to do that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we wanted to fit you as the mom and your own lifestyle because even in our cycles are different. It may be a 28-day, it might be a 36-day. So you have to be able to adjust that as well.
So what are some practical ways that parents can adapt their lesson plans and activities to match those energy levels and emotional shifts?
I think it's important to remember that, first of all, everything is a cycle, right? Like you can plan for it, but there's only so much. You have to be open to changes. But I think it's good to look at it and go, okay, when are my energy weeks? And those high energy weeks are the times you hit new projects. You're teaching bigger things. Like those are the times when you do hands-on science experiments, when you're building the treehouse, when you're putting the garden together, you're canning, right? The high energy, bigger projects with your kids, knowing that in a couple weeks, your energy is going to drop. And now you build in a nap for mom. And if you have little kids where you know they're going to need some time, I have a whole library of educational movies that they can watch, that they know they have the freedom for. And most often I'm laying in my bed because I don't feel good or I'm cramping or I'm tired. They'll even cuddle in with me and watch the movie. I fall asleep to the movie knowing they're getting an education. I am still here, and they'll tell me, I love it when mom's tired because we've gone through, what are some of the movies? Like How It's Made. I don't know if you guys have seen that. We've gone through How It's Made. We've gone through the inventions that rocked the world. Great resource. There's a an app called Living Scripture. It's both Christian built, but it also has an entire homeschool section for history, science. So I can honestly say my children get most of their histories and sciences on my down weeks because I'm tired and they're watching videos. And they get their hands-on build and crafts and mechanics and that kind of stuff on my up weeks. And if you follow that flow, you will eventually cover everything. You just have to know that consistency doesn't mean daily. Consistency can be monthly or yearly. And you just let those flows happen. We're taught to fight our energy flows. The truth is when you take it and like just adopt it, you will actually be much more productive.
So for someone new to this concept, what is like the biggest takeaway about syncing this up with their homeschool schedule?
The biggest takeaway, I think the number one thing we just have to give ourselves permission is we need to give ourselves permission to be women and stop fighting that. I'm not a man. I was not meant to be a man. God gave me a menstrual cycle. He gave me emotions that are up and down. And that's okay. And my children will not suffer. They will not in any way struggle because of this. If anything, what I've seen my boys become much more empathetic. They're more aware. I know that they're going to be amazing husbands because I've worked on this with the girls and the boys, right? The boys see the flows, the girls see the flows. My boys have gotten it down so well now that they're like, oh, mom's going to be craving carbs this week. Let's make sure she's got her favorite snacks, right? And it's adorable. And it's a way for our children to serve us because I think we get into this, I have to do all the serving idea in the family. And the truth of it is it's okay for us to have those times when our children learn to serve mom. And so I think the biggest takeaway is to just know that this is normal. Let it work. Make it work for you. I'm just tired of fighting it. I'm tired of apologizing for being female. I'm tired of apologizing because I'm having a menstrual cycle that is maybe flooring me. I have two daughters who really struggle. Like for about 3 days, they're down with severe pain and they can take those days off and that's okay. And teach, it's like, I call it humanology. We learn to be humans. Then we can learn reading, writing, and math, right? Let's just let ourselves be human. So I
totally love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, being able to teach how to be able to care for yourself so that you can be able to care for others, filling your own cup up.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear a couple of examples of times when syncing your schedule made a noticeable difference for your homeschooling experience or your kids' learning.
Well, as they say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? And when I was fighting the cycle, like I didn't understand my own cycle, I wasn't tracking it. I forgot where I was and when it was happening. I think my uptight days, we all go through days where it's like, don't touch me, right? Like the slightest touch. I don't know about anybody else, but I actually have a couple of days where if somebody touches my skin, it actually almost burns. Like, I don't know why. And so on those days, if one of my children will come up and try to cuddle mommy, I would snap. And as we have made this more open, our children no longer internalize mommy's snappiness, right? It's not their fault anymore. They understand that there's a scientific reason for it. It's helped me to schedule my snappy times. So if I know that on these 3 days, I will be exhausted, I make sure I don't plan anything for those days. I'm not going to host a ton of homeschoolers in my home those days because they'll drive me crazy. I'll make sure it's scheduled for the week following when I'm in the mood. And so it's really just brought a peace to our home, a better understanding for all of us, more communication, and it makes everybody on the team. So, we have to do some adjusting with 3 daughters as well on their cycle. And sometimes it's hard to find a day when we're all in a good mood, but Um, I just think it's really brought us more together as a team, as a family. It's something that we've taken head on instead of avoided or pretending didn't exist. And it's really brought a harmonious feel to everything we do now.
So, how would you recommend that people get started? They should download the planner, and then how do you recommend that they start tracking and figuring out when those high energy weeks are and low energy times? How do you recommend kind of figuring that out?
Well, first of all, let me share it. Can I share this? How do I
Yeah,
share it?
just you should have a little icon that has a monitor and a up arrow.
All right. Can you see it?
Okay, let me add it here.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So here's the planner you get totally free. And we actually do explain the process inside the planner. So it talks about the 4 phases. Now, it's important for you to remember that yes, it has days on here, but you do need to adjust for your own body. I've had some women say, "Oh, I'm in menopause now. Does this still fit?" Well, yeah, you still have your highs and lows, and so it's still important to do that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just kind of track, like, how much do you know about yourself? Do you know? Are you a 28 day? Are you still not sure because you never really tracked? So it's important to kind of find out where that is. Now, I personally, the day I start to bleed, as they say, my energy pops in. Now, other women, that's their worst couple of days and their energy drops. So adjust according to when your first day of energy is, not necessarily your menstruation. And so I think that's important that you see that. Because what this will say, so it'll say right here, it gives you the phases and it explains what the phases are so you can understand where we're going. And then we give you the basics. So on the menstrual, 5 days, 1 to 5 days, right? Some people only are 3 days. Some people are 7. Once again, adjust. You'll have a low energy. So do rest and reflection. This is a great time for book reading, bookathons, right? Readathons. Load up at the library, pop a ton of popcorn, and just read for a few days. Your kids will love it. We do a lot of audiobooks, journaling, quiet reading, self-paced worksheets, things that just aren't high stress. And then we do have in here the MHSV tools, the My Homeschool Village tools that are in here. And these are things that are in our program that you can have access to, which is Epic Books, Starfall, Study.com, self-paced courses. We have art, journaling, art clubs, things like that. And then we go through all 4 phases. So it's important to remember, adjust accordingly. Even if you have to go in here and scratch out something and add or subtract or change your days. And then we show the phases. We show exactly the types of things that are perfect during these phases. And then you can even come in here and write your notes. Like, how can I take care of myself? I have learned to make sure that my children make that a priority. When you're in the public school world, it's about grades and everything else takes a back end, right? Like, I watch my own nieces and nephews who are public school, then it's like, I don't care if you're sick, you can't miss another day of school, get out there. I remember my father going through a surgery, a big time surgery. We weren't sure he was even going to live. And they sent me to school because they couldn't miss another day. And I remember getting nothing out of it. Right. And so it's important that we learn to treat our children and our children treat themselves as humans first. What care do you need today? Did you get enough sleep? Did you get enough protein? Did you get some sort of exercise, things like that. So that's why I always put the self-care first, because if their brains, their spirits, their bodies aren't doing well, the learning doesn't matter. They're not getting it. And then we go through our activities and then our courses. And notice there is a reason for the order. If in self-care, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need a nap more than anything else, then maybe I need to make sure that my courses are light and easy or maybe video-based. If I'm like self-care, I'm going to go run 5 miles. Well, then maybe in my courses, I could probably do something bigger, right? So it's important to just do that reflection. What is it? Then you're going to go into, and then it has phase 2, right? And so phase 2, generally days 6 through 14-ish, is when we have the higher energies, and it gives ideas, just kind of showing you how this works all the way through. And so you really just want to make sure that you're filling this out. Number 1, how do I feel, right? let's get started on our new topics. What hands-on projects is this the week to build garden boxes? Or is this the week to maybe just look at seeds? You could do that. So, and you can plan out a project this way. Say, let's use gardening as an example. So we're going to build a garden this spring, but you can plan it out this way. Okay, on week 1, we're going to build the garden boxes and maybe even fill them with dirt. But on week 2, how about we just pick out what we're going to plant and put them in the Amazon cart, right? And then week 3, maybe we'll go out and actually plant it. And so you can literally take your ideas like this and split it up that way. And the beauty of this, you can print out a million of these. Like, print this out 1 a month and plan it every month this way. Your winters will look different than your springs. Your falls will look different as well as your summers and when you're vacationing and things like that. We even will change our vacations around mom's menstrual cycle because if we go on the wrong week, I can't do it. So anyway, so you get all of this. I hope this is just kind of a really brief explanation of how this works. But on each one, we also explain to you what's happening to your body and what will apply here for you. Because we knew we were building this for teenage girls as well. And it's a completely new thing for them. You can literally just give this to your teenage daughter. Let her just start keeping track of how she feels, what she's doing. Sometimes you can even go backwards and write what you did last week while you're learning these cycles in your life. Any questions? So that's basically it. And then we do have, as you can see, there's a cycle tracker. So this just shows you day 1, energy level, what you did right, a homeschool win, and then maybe something you would do differently on the next month. And this gives you, it's all color coded. As you can see, the color goes with the cycle, so it helps make a little more sense. And then we do a monthly reflection at the end. What worked well? What should you change and do better? How did your energy impact things? And then personal notes. And then just print this out. You could keep it in GoodNotes, like a PDF on your iPad, or you can print it and put it in a notepad. I highly recommend you do that so that you can go back over a year and see how you've adjusted as you've kept track of what you've done.
I think that's a great point of being able to have that record so that you can kind of see where what you've been doing, what worked better for you, and be able to kind of reflect on that so that you can be able to kind of make tweaks and changes as you're going. So let's say that there's a homeschool parent out there who's curious but unsure where they should get started. What is one simple way that they could be able to implement this and begin experimenting with this in their own homeschool routine as they're still, say, figuring everything out? What would be like one simple way that they could be able to start implementing this?
I think the number one thing to do is just track your energy levels and just get to know your body. So you could even just take the very end of that planner where we just talked about, it took your 28 days and how you felt. Just start with that page only and just see where you are. Now, you can download an app. There's a lot of app PMS trackers out there. Some are for husbands, some are for moms, some are for teenage girls. It just depends. Pick one and just get to know yourself and your energy levels, number 1. And number 2, give yourself grace on this. Like, it's not about forgiving yourself. It's about planning ahead for next week. I'm going to be grumpy. It's about planning ahead for next week. I'm going to be in a great mood. Let's go play, right? And so I think you just need to get to know your body, get to know your own personal cycle, teenager or mom, I don't care. We put ourselves last so often. A lot of us really don't know ourselves as much as we think we do. So that as you start to see the patterns in your life, and get your husband on board, by all means, get the men in your life on board on this, because actually yesterday I was just like out of it and I was really tired and I was like, what is my problem? My husband came up and he goes, it's because you're on day, I can't remember what day it is. And this is when your progesterone, whatever. And today's the first day of tired. And I went, duh. If I had gone to my planner and looked at it, I would have known what day I was on. And so having my husband on board helps him come to me and go, remember why you're tired today? Oh yeah, thanks. I'm not going crazy. So get the family on board, track yourself.
I think that that's such an important part because when you're not feeling well, you don't necessarily remember like why because you have that brain fog. So having someone else that can kind of come up and be able to support you in that way and have your family that can be like, hey, we made you this we got you these awesome snacks and you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, this means so much because of those emotions and things like that. And so it really gives your family a chance to kind of grow closer in that way because you're taking care of them and they're taking care of you. And so it really, I think, helps develop that family culture that I think is really unique to homeschooling.
Yeah. And I think it's important that a child gets the opportunity to take care of mom. It teaches them compassion and empathy, but it also builds the relationship better. I think we forget sometimes we always have to be the strong one. We always have to be the one doing everything. And it actually builds confidence when the child can take care of the mother. That is not a bad thing or a weakness in any way. It's a beautiful thing. And I think we need to let our children do it more.
So I would love to hear a little bit more about My Homeschool Village and how people can be able to get started because you shared a lot of resources that people can be able to utilize to be able to use this method that you're talking about, this homeschool method. So tell us a little bit about My Homeschool Village and how people can get started.
Okay. So My Homeschool Village really came about. I mean, Heather and I met through a business group and we're entrepreneurs. We love business. We love homeschooling, but as moms, it's not enough. A lot of times, most of us end up building businesses. We have things on the side. We all are, something for me, right? But there's this, I need to homeschool the kids and I want to be able to do these things for myself. When can I do these? When can I do for me? And when mom does for herself, it builds her children as well. And so we built My Homeschool Village for the busy homeschool mom who wants to do it all. Now, I don't say that as a stress thing because we shouldn't have to do it all. But My Homeschool Village is built. Now we have an online co-op, which means there are almost 20 hours a week where we have other homeschool moms who come on and do live classes with the kids. And those live classes are art clubs, book clubs, Lego clubs, Minecraft education. Like the parents are in there playing with, or not parents, but we have the one homeschool mom who's in there. And usually her kids are in there too, right? And they're playing together and they're having great activities together. Now, my son, as you can see, he's about to join Minecraft. Yeah. He's actually getting on right now on the Minecraft education. And what happens is he gets his homework done first thing in the morning. He goes in and he uses My Homeschool Village's programs. What we did is we're like the Costco of homeschooling. We went to our favorite online programs and said, look, homeschoolers can't pay what you're offering. Kids history. I'm broke. So what we did is we went in and talked to them and said, look, can we buy large numbers of licenses from you and then give this as a huge savings to our homeschool moms? They're like, yeah, sure. So when you join My Homeschool Village, you get 10 online programs, the access to 10 of them, so that you can adjust. We call it our buffet of learning, where you get all the resources and then you just build a plate per child, right? And then, my son gets up in the morning, he uses the My Homeschool Village's online programs, and then he has to have them done before he can join Minecraft or a book club or an art club. And so he gets in there. And the fun of it is the kids are all having to do this. So when all the moms are kind of doing this on their own, so he'll get in on Minecraft and one of the kids will pop on and be like, did you get your homework done? Because you'll have to leave if you didn't. And they're checking on each other. And one time I was teasing him. I'm like, you didn't get your math done. I'm telling Miss Ann. And I texted the teacher, which all the moms can do at any time, and be like, tell Ben to get his homework done. And she will do it. And he'll get off, run over, do it. So it's removed me as the bad guy, which has been beautiful. It's given me more time to myself to run a business, to read a book, to take a bath, right? For hours a week where he's still being educated. He's getting a social life with homeschoolers. He's enjoying his learning time. And I got another mom who gets to be the bad guy. But it's also freed me up from having to go, it's given him a reason to get his homework done every day because he's got friends online that are waiting. And if he doesn't show up at 2, he starts to get messages and texts, dude, where are you? And they're starting to text back and forth, hurry and get your math done. I'm hurrying to get my job done. I'll be right there. And they're sending these messages. So it really has turned out to be the perfect homeschool experience for me and my family. And And Heather and her family, we built this because we were just tired of doing it all ourselves. And we thought there's so many amazing moms out there. Let's team up. Let's do it all together. And we even do meetups. We have a mom book club. We have a mom homesteading club. And then we even have several lives where we all get on Zoom and we chit chat and we giggle and we hang out. And so it really is like mom gets friends, kids get friends, and all their curriculums taken care of. Yeah.
I love that. So you really are creating a homeschool village. So if you have ever asked, where's my village?
Right here.
So thank you so much for joining us today and really giving us all this great information and the free planner. I went ahead and shared a link to learn more about My Homeschool Village in the comments, and you can also get the cycle syncing planner as well. Be sure to grab that. That is a thank you for you guys joining us live. And if you have any questions at all, go ahead and share them in the comments, and I'll make sure to tag Rebecca so she can answer your questions.
Happy to. Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh, one more thing. Is it too late?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
We have, just for the new moms out there, My Homeschool Village, actually, we have a Meet with the Mom mentor if you'd like. We know there's so many new homeschoolers right now that have a million questions and are overwhelmed. If you go to our website, you can click a book a call now. It's totally free. You get one of our moms, and whether or not you use our program, they're willing to talk to you and help you through it. Make sure you got your legal stuff done, give you your first steps. And then if you decide to join, they will give you a code for 50% off your first month.
Wow.
So yeah, you get a free one-on-one with one of our mentor moms. You just go in, make an appointment on the Calendly link. They'll meet you like this on a Zoom, and just walk you through and answer your own questions about homeschooling, any doubts you have, and guide you and direct you all the way along. And that's just a free service we love to do to help our moms.
That's amazing. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. And I look forward to doing another interview with you again soon.
Yes, please. Enjoy talking to you. Thank you so much.